See, these are things that are telling you that this is going to happen if you stay in this state of mind.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. When you change the state of mind, you're not going anywhere. This is what you're changing. And this is right with you. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have any excuse at all not to sit down and go in here because you're doing so anyway. But what are you doing when you're in there? Making a mess, or are you straightening it up? Now, I found that straightening it up was really, it was quite calming. But looking at the turmoil in your mind, that's not soothing. That's not comforting. And you're told the comforter is with you. Take advantage of it. Be still and know that I'm God. Right here with you, right now. Never going to leave you. Omnipresent. What are you looking for? I'm right here. That's what he's telling you. I'm right here. I'm right here with you. You're not, even though you walk through the desert, I'm right here with you. Nothing's going to harm you unless you think so, because it's as you think you are, not how I think, because I think as you think, because I allowed you to do the choosing as to what we're going to do. What are you choosing? What can I expect from you? I don't even want to think about that. No, you can hold a state of mind if you choose to do so. I mean, let me put it this way. If you were really passionate about something, no one would have to tell you what to do. You just do it. But you have to have the passion. You have to have that drive. You have to have that desire. That's what moves things. You have to be desirous. I mean, just when the people fail to dream, they start to die. And when we say future and past, these are just thoughts in your mind. It's always right now. It's never then or then. That's gone, and this ain't here yet. But you can give it space and time in your mind and wind up experiencing it. In other words, as you think you are. Trying to say it more in many different ways, but it's still the same thing. I mean, what you choose to believe, you're delivered into. What do you want to be delivered into? Then that's what you want to be thinking on, isn't it?
It is. You said the thing is, for desired change, you have to find yourself passionate. And this is true. Scripture bears out and says that the kingdom of heaven, the mind of man, suffers violence, but the violence take it by force. Now, we see this violence as people at war, but this is not what they're talking about. They're talking about those who are passionate about change or desire change. Those who are really passionate about it, they get into the midst of this mindset, this battle, and they take it, and it's not even a request. They don't ask for it. They stand up and take and claim what it is that they're decreeing. So whatever it is that you desire, you have to stand up, as Mr. Lindell stated, passionately take that which you've claimed and acknowledge it, clothe yourself in it as already being your current reality, and live from it as opposed to thinking of it. And you will experience the desired change, but it has to become real to you.
You see people who are angry,
Yeah,
and they don't realize that they can be passionate about being angry.
absolutely.
And they'll look for reasons to be angry so that they're justified in being angry.
Yeah.
I say this because I know all of it. I did it. That's the reason why we're here.
Yeah.
It's because we went through it, and I know you're going to go through it, and you're going to do so, but you'll come out the other end anyway. That's all I want you to know. See, in that case, I'm being the comforter. I'm telling you it's going to be all right on the other end, because there's only God. There's only God in the beginning. There's only God right now. There's only God then. And you tell you that in the end, you shall be as Jesus Christ is now. that's what you'll be. But you got a lot of changes, a lot of very serious changes to do before that time. But look, the thing of it is that the Comforter tells you that it's okay. You're saved by grace, but that doesn't help you in your thinking feelingly about what you're doing in your life in your everydayness. You see, because it's as you think you are, you do, but you have to change that thinking, and it doesn't change doesn't come easy. I mean, it really doesn't. I know that because I fought it for a long time. I kept saying, well, yeah, but that's what it really is. But no, it isn't really. It's only I think so. You understand? Your whole world is what you think so. Can you think better? I'd give it a shot, wouldn't you?
I would. I would. You talked about change not coming easy. And, you know, you fight a battle on two fronts. You fight ego within, then you fight the world without. And the world without is accustomed to seeing you a certain way. When they looked at the persona Jesus, they said, we grew up with him. We know him. Don't we know his siblings? Don't we know his brothers and his sisters? And isn't his parents Joseph and Mary? And so the world without will try to keep you in your current ideal of you. Your ego will say to you, well, who do you think that you are that you can make a change like that? So with fighting the battle on those two fronts, you have to get in mind who it is that you are and begin living from that identity.
Yeah, you are as you think you are. I mean, scripture tells you that right off, as a man thinketh in his heart, and that's male, female, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Now, to me, that's gospel.
Yeah.
You're being told that as you think you are. Can you not change your thinking? I mean, that's all there is to it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
If as you think you are, you change your thinking, and it's all fine again. Why is it so hard to accept that? Do you know?
I think for many people, they haven't tested it because it says, taste and see that the Lord is good. If Creator tells us to do something and there's a result that follows, sowing and reaping, whatever, as you think you are, the reason why it's hard is because we stay in thought about as you think, or as a man think, as a woman thinks in his heart, but we don't test it. And again, this is not about us. This is about you discovering what's true for you. But as Mr. Lindell will often say, you can try to prove me wrong and give me a call, but I don't think I'll hear from you. And this is absolutely true. We won't hear from you. If you begin thinking as you think and you start seeing the results in your world, and then you say, well, let me try something else, and you repeat the process, you're going to start changing your thinking because you're going to realize that the thinking, the thoughts that you think are going to be outpictured in your world.
You couldn't listen to one of these sessions.
Yeah.
And not get the idea that it's always up to you.
Yeah.
It's always up to the individual. This is not a debate. I'm not debating anything. I experienced it, and that's what I'm sharing with you, what I experienced. I heard it by the hearing of the ear first, probably both of them. But the thing of it is, what do you do about what you hear? See, you're hearing it. I know you're hearing it. I hear it. I see it around me all the time. But are you thinking from it? See, you know about it, but knowing about it is not the same thing as thinking from it. That one is a confession you don't have it, and the other one is, well, the way you're thinking about it, it's in the future, but still it is in the future, and you want to bring it into the present, and that's what you're given to do. Neville told you he would go into the future, and there he would conceive an idea, but he would bring it back with him. Bring the future back with him, make it then instead of now, because you can do this and you can experience it. And then when it comes up, you're not surprised, but you're happy. I did something. Just start taking credit for the things you do. I find nobody has any, I didn't do anything great. Yeah, you did. You did a lot of things that were great. I mean, learning to walk was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just learning to watch what you're involved in your thinking and feeling. Is it lovely and of good report? Is it? And why isn't it if it isn't? I mean, you're told, choose this day. What are you choosing? You are choosing, that's it. People don't realize they're still on. They're still choosing. Regardless of what you're thinking about. That's setting up a future of what you're thinking about right then and there. And you're told that all denial is self-denial. So if you don't change it, then you just denied yourself that. All the entrapment is all self-entrapment. That's denied. You're denying yourself freedom. But it's with you. You understand? It's already with you. You don't have to go and get it. You just have to feel it. And that's feeling is the secret. Wasn't that the book of Neville's? Feeling is the secret. I read that. This one woman, I gave her the book. And then the next time I saw her, I said, what? How was the book? She goes, oh, that was great. That was great. And I said, she said, oh, yeah, I read that. That was it. And I said, well, was that it? You just read it? She goes, oh, yeah, I read the whole thing. It was right. It was good. And I said, well, what did you get out of it? And she said, what do you mean what did I get out? Well, if you don't know what you got out of it, well, that's your own question. In other words, you don't just read something once. Your book here, where's it at? Anyway, I had it here the last time. You don't just read something like that once.
Yeah.
I mean, it's broken down for you there the way it is. I like the way it is because it's broken down for you to give you the essence of what the stories are rather than the stories. You see, because most people are still caught up in the stories, wars and rumors of wars and all of that stuff. But that's what you have to change. It's as you think you are. See, thinking is things. All these things around me here, they're all thoughts, aren't they?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, they're just thoughts out of someone's head, right?
Absolutely.
The whole vast world in a second hand.
Absolutely.
It's only new as idea, right?
Absolutely. You were talking about Neville talking about going into the future, making then, now, and there, here. And I had some things I had to do today because I knew that we had the call today. So I saw in my mind's eye everything that I needed to do. And I knew the time I had to get up. When I started off doing it, it wasn't even an option. I was then going through the motions of what it was that I knew that I needed to do. So now I manifested 2 dozen eggs, a chicken, some gas, and I took care of my business, and I'm on this call. But that started off first and foremost as an ideal, a concept. It wasn't manifested, but I went into my future. I said, some people call it a goal. I created a goal, and I went into my future, decided what it was that I wanted to do, and I ended up accomplishing those things, and now I'm on the talk. Now, most of you would say, I do that every day. And Mr. Lindell and I would say, exactly.
That's it. That's it. It's supposed to be normal, natural feeling. You're supposed to be happy. I mean, do you think God made you here to be unhappy? Come on. We're dealing with absolute love.
Yeah.
And absolute love loves absolutely. So right there, that's the grace you've been looking for. And that's the grace you'll receive. But not until you change your mind. You see, that's the stopper in the whole thing. You can't pour anything until you get the top off. And I know that. And I'm sometimes look, you're involved in this life, but you're given to choose it. And all you're told to do is just choose wisely. Choose what you want, not what you don't want. But that's the problem. Most of us are choosing what we don't want because that's what has our attention. And what has your attention has your life. And so if you want to change your life, you have to change your attention. It sounds so super simple. I understand that. But remember, however old you are, you've been conditioned all those years to the ongoing drama and other people's attitudes and ideas and assumptions and moods. And what of them have you taken in and are living out someone else's idea? How much of you is you? That's a good question, isn't it?
It is. It is. You said something. Speaking of how much of you is you, and it's true. That goes back to what you often say that, people 99 years old and still being raised by their parents. But you said something. You said you can't pour anything in until you take the top off. And that top is our old limiting beliefs, those beliefs that have held us bound for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years. And Mr. Lindell says, you got to take that top off if you want to have something new poured into. In other words, you have to open and quicken that new ideal.
That's it. That's what you do. Neville says, open and quicken it. If you think you got it, open it and quicken it and see. I mean, you have to test it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing he said all along. You have to test it. First person. Because that's the only way, that's the only way you'd understand it, isn't it? First person.
Absolutely.
And that's all we're trying to do is to get you to start looking from it as first person. In other words, every word out of your mouth is your life. Or even if it's just a thought, but it's your life. So in other words, if you're thinking of things happening to you that you don't want, see, that's how you get them. I actually, anything that happens that you didn't want, you thought about it. Somewhere down the line, you saw yourself suffering this, whatever it is. And you'll continue to do so time slot after time slot after time slot until you change your mind. You see, in other words, God gave you complete freedom and the power to be free. What have you done with it? Isn't that the question?
That is the question. You said, listen, if you're experiencing it, you thought about it, but you often say this, even if you're not thinking about it, you're allowing someone else to think it into existence for you. So we're either living out our own thoughts or other people's thoughts of us. But Mr. Lindell is challenging you to begin thinking according to what it is that you desire, because that's a first person stance. And from that, you can create anything you want. But you have to begin thinking for yourself the thoughts that you want to materialize, manifest, bring about in your life.
That's exactly true, because what they're thinking about you is their problem.
Yeah.
Not yours. But if you take it on,
absolutely,
there you are.
That's it.
There you are. See? In other words, just like you said, you could have let the guy at the store upset you.
Yeah.
But you didn't. Yeah. Now, did you take credit for it?
Well, I took credit for it, but I took credit for the growth.
That's what I'm trying to get.
I took credit for the growth. And if I got upset, I would have had to take credit for that as well.
Yeah, that you deny.
That's true. I didn't do that. He made me do it. Flip Wilson. You remember Flip Wilson? The devil made me do it.
Yeah, and he has spoiled my whole day.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why the day went bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you see, in other words, can you smile?
Yeah.
You see, that's it. Just smile at them.
Yeah.
They might hit you. But that's it. Come on. You're given freedom. Why not take advantage of it? You're told it as you think you are. What are you thinking? I know I keep saying this over and over and over because, I'm not trying to show you that I know an awful lot about this, that, or the other. I'm just telling you, this is one little statement that I finally understood. that as you think you are. I finally got it. It took a long time, but I finally got it. And I watch what I'm thinking, because if I don't, I'm experiencing what I don't want. It's as simple as that. And attitude, attitude, attitude. Mondane tells us it's all about attitude. And then everybody's telling you it's all about your own attitudes, either make you or break you. I mean, sure, you heard that.
Yeah.
Well, okay. And I repeat it every time, just about anyway. So I'm sure they have heard it. But the thing of it is that, do you believe it? Just ask yourself, what do you believe? Because you can find out real quick. Just look at how you're living, what you're experiencing. That's what you were thinking about before, right? Absolutely. That's it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Anything that you're happening to you now, you could go back and find out where it started in your thinking, or something someone else said started you thinking that way. And as long as you think that way, it'll draw to it. There you are. There's your problems, as you think you are. It's as simple as that. And if you keep it that simple, you can conquer anything if it has your attention. That's your weapon. Your weapon is your attention. I mean, use it wisely, right?
Absolutely. You said something. You said, listen, if you keep experiencing it, time slot after time slot, you keep experiencing similar situations, then you have to go back to yourself. If you keep attracting certain types of people, you say that you deal with females you can't trust, or men who are violent, whatever the scenario is that you keep attracting, even in your family member, if there's certain things that are always projected towards you from family members, then you got to go back to the source. You have to say, what am I doing to continuously attract this? What am I being? What am I having that's continuously bringing this scenario in my life? And the reason why I ask you to ask the question, so that you can go to the second grade. See, you can't move on to the second grade until you learn the lesson of the first grade. And if you keep repeating the same lesson, you keep getting put it back.
Right. Think the same way, you get the same results.
Yeah.
If you turn the fire under it, you got to watch it. Otherwise, it'll all boil away. You see, when you start something, you have to follow through with it. And people feel that way. They get in a negative situation. They figure, well, I have to follow through with it. No, you don't. Drop it. Change your mind. Change your world. I mean, that's very simple. Change your mind. Change your world. I mean, that's all you got to do. I'm trying to make it sound like it's simple, because it is. But I don't know. People feel they have to have something negative going on to make them feel right. I don't know, because they're making the negative the normal, and that's not the normal. The normal is happiness, but you have to choose it. You have to actually choose to be happy. That's it. Other people can't make you, for the moment, they can make you smile about something or other. I can even make them smile. Okay.
For a moment.
For a moment, yeah, right. But yeah, well, yeah. So it's I got a letter today that upset me. And then my wife says, "Don't panic." And that did it. I said, "Hell with the throw sign. I'll deal with it later." But actually, I did deal with it. And as a matter of fact, I'm still dealing with it. But it's okay. Yeah. It's just part of the living. That's all. I mean, all of these, got all of these minds out there, and they're functioning every day. About what, I don't know, but they are functioning, because I see them moving around. But what are you actually planning for yourself for the future? Have you even thought of a plan of beyond tomorrow? Because you're doing so unaware, and all we're saying is that it's better to be aware. I know you're not aware all the time. We're both aware of that. We struggle with not being aware too.
Absolutely.
Because there's so much going on that you can't deal with all of it. Some of it you do have to shove away. You're told by Jesus that the day has enough for you right here. You get the day straight, because all things produce after their own kind. And if you get today straight, then tomorrow's likely to be straight.
Yeah.
And if you do it again and again and again, then that becomes your normal.
Absolutely.
And you're creating a new normal, and a happy one, hopefully. But understand this: it's always up to you. He gave you choose this day right there. That's it. He's not going to tap you on the shoulder and tell you, well, I think it'd be better to do it that. No, it's as you think you are. All holes barred. You can strangle yourself,
Absolutely.
And believe me, a lot of people are strangling themselves, and they don't really why. They wonder why they can't breathe.
It's true.
That's what they're doing to themselves, really.
It's true.
Just listen to the people on the TV that they're doing exactly that. Well, they're acting, but we're all doing that. Like I said, Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage and all the men and women are merely actors. But you see, if you're an actor, then you're playing a part. Yeah. And hopefully you chose the part you're playing. And that's all we've got trying to get you to do, is to choose the part you're playing, so that you're not crying and whining and moaning about what you are playing, because someone else chose it for you. But you allowed it. See, they can't choose anything for you. You allowed it. They might want to, but you allowed it. So it's what you allow. That's what you're experiencing. Isn't it?
It is. And I want to go back to, both of us gave scenarios today. I told you about an incident I had at the store. Mr. Lindell told you about a letter. We all face challenges. I want you to get that we're not unique from you. Everything in our life doesn't just go on a steady flow and nothing happens. We have our ups and downs. I have times that I blow up and I go off. And what I'm saying is, we're just like you. Mr. Lindell will often say, but we just get back quicker. And we get back quicker because we know now. And our challenge to you is to get back on track quicker. Things are going to upset you. Things are going to set you back. Things are going to put you off. But get back quicker. As we say that, what would you say to the listener in closing?
Get back quicker. Well, that's all there is to it. Now, I saw all my failures was that I let it go. I got turned around for a moment, and that's all it took, because that moment started growing. It was a negative, and it was growing, yeah. And then that caused other negatives, and it's an ongoing. It's ongoing. Yeah. You have to stop it. You have to stop it in your own life. The negatives, yeah. And what all you have to do to stop them is just exchange them for something that you want. Yeah. And that's the hardest thing is, what do you want? What do you want to experience? Think about that. But why focus on the things you're not proud of? They focus on their shortcomings, not on their longcomings. But you're focused on the wrong thing if you're not enjoying life. It's as simple as that, right?
Absolutely. And sir, on that note, it's been a pleasure.
Talk to you later.
Okay.
People just want to know what you did to be successful.
The 4 CDs that I have out there, it's all there. If you took any one of the CDs and actually followed through on what you understood there, you could change your mind, change your world. All you have to do is just listen to the CDs. It's always reiteration and reiteration.
I want to go back to the 4 CD set. Go to metaphysicalarttheater.com. We can only mail in the U.S. right now, but for those who are outside the U.S., we can send you a digital bundle with everything, so you'll get the enjoyment without waiting for it in the mail. Matter of fact, those who are in the U.S., if you would rather have the digital copies, we can do that as well. MetaphysicalArtTheater.com.